I'm one of the strongest men to ever walk the earth.
I love Caesar salad.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Husky Boys contest. It's not even a contest. It's a podcast. I got excited. I'm really excited just to say, look at my shirt.
Husky, I love it.
This is an old shirt from back in the day that I made because I love the whole idea of like growing up, like the Husky Boys were the ones that mamas protected, and it was like, it just reminds me of my childhood, like mama's being like, you're not fat, you're husky, you know?
That's
so
really funny. So is that an old one that you made?
yeah, it's got holes in it and stuff. It's old.
Is it available for purchase?
Not anymore. Well, I'm sure you and I will do something where it'll be husky. Right now, I don't think I don't have any. I had a blue one. I used to do these a lot, but they're not available anymore. But I still have them, you know? Husky boy for life.
We should do some designs and put them out there and let people buy them.
Huskies, it's relatable, I guess. It's really relatable. Because, man, there's so many kids that had to go to the Husky section. That doesn't even exist anymore.
Right. Yeah,
They don't have that.
Everybody's a Husky.
That's just your normal section. Is
Normal's Husky. What are those? They have the Greyhound section now for the kids that don't eat.
Is it called grayed out?
Greyhound.
Greyhound,
like a dog.
Yeah. Dude, no, for us, I mean, like Husky was life, and then now it's it's just normal clothes, and then I go to DXL or Big and Tall or whatever.
Oh, that's I every so often I'll go down to DXL.
Oh, you see my haircut?
Large. Oh yeah, you did get a little bit of a.
I'm all faded up. Oh, it feels so
buddy.
good. I had to convince the girl cutting my hair. She's been cutting. I've only had like 2 people in my life cut my hair that aren't my mom. And my mom cut my hair forever.
Such a mama's boy.
I am. I really was, man. I really was. I was number 8 of 10. My mom was told she couldn't have more kids, and then she got pregnant with me. And so I was like, the special boy. But
The special boy.
anyways, I had to convince the girl to cut it because she was like, that's such a big change. I was like, if you don't do it, I'm going to go home and do it myself, and it's going to look bad.
And be crooked.
So she did it. It was like 40 pounds of curls all on the ground.
I love it. I think it looks good. I think
it feels good.
It suits you. I think it suits you, and the beard's all trimmed up too. I noticed.
Yeah, trimmed up the beard a bit and trying to make it presentable. I got an arm wrestling match coming up, and I've got a bunch of other stuff I'm focusing on. So like, I don't know. It really kind of lasers me in.
Are you doing photos right now as well?
Nothing really.
You should. With it, now that you're all like cleaned up, you should really do some photos if you get a chance.
Yeah, I'll get some photos done probably. I got invited to a basketball game today, so I'm gonna go play basketball with Jellyroll and a couple other people. We'll see who is all supposed to be there. But
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna try and get as many photos as possible of that because I haven't played basketball in 15 years.
Don't Segura it. I know. Segura it. But also at the same time, are the hoops the regulation height?
I hope not. We're playing inside of a giant arena too.
Yes, yeah.
We're playing pickup basketball in a giant arena. So we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping I can just kind of post up and play center and just stand there.
Post Malone up and just knock him down.
Exactly.
I love it.
Last time, so I joined a rec basketball league in college for fun, but we got kicked out of the league because we made a tradition where we would get drunk during the games.
Yes.
So we would have our Gatorade half empty and fill it with vodka. Yes. And by like the second, third quarter, we are sloppy kids.
Yes.
And we were playing rough, and I was a very physical basketball player. That's my only like advantage in basketball is I'm big.
Just taking people down left, right, and center, pushing.
Oh yeah, just being all stiff and stuff, bumping people. But today I plan on low key I want to take one clean shot for the camera and then stay out of the way. Don't bump my ankles.
That's hysterical. You just want to get it. Just want to get in for the photo shoot and then disappear.
Yeah. Freaking Jellyroll's gonna be running around punking me.
My God. That tattooed boy is going to be pushing people. That's funny that those two boys are traveling together with all their face tattoos.
Yeah. They do giant.
Orders.
It's crazy. Music is so crazy now. Like when I was a kid, it was like I got made fun of. I remember a kid on the school bus going like, "You listen to rock and rap? What a weird combo." And then literally the next year, Limp Bizkit came out. And Kid Rock and all that stuff.
I enjoy that. I enjoy the butt rock kind of stuff. And then when it mixed with rap, it was just like, oh, this is white heaven.
It was great. It was great. It was like when Elvis stole the blues. It was awesome.
It was great. It's just it was fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah, and nowadays you got guys.
What was
like
your first concert?
Say it again.
What was your first concert?
I went to see Nelly in San Francisco, and opening up for him was Guns N' Roses. And it was
like this. I was like the second version or the original version.
No, the newer. It was 2002 or 2003. So it was the newer version, right?
Yeah.
So he came out with dreadlocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he starts singing. And he's going like wiggling around, and then halfway through the first song, you see him like stop, and then all of a sudden it became real stiff and stuff. Like I think he pulled something in his neck. Nelly was awesome, it was really cool that Nelly was my first. Because like there was a big moment where Nelly ran the world. Like Nelly was the man, you know, and he had everything, and like my real coming of age was right when Country Grammar came out, you know, and it was such a good album. Like the first time I smoked weed or any of that stuff, like that was all to that album. And later on, much later, so like do you remember when the Ravens were in the Super Bowl and the lights went out on them?
Was that with the Goose?
In New Orleans? I don't remember who. No, not the Goose. That was when Trent Dilfer was the quarterback, and Trent Dilfer went to my high school, which was awesome.
Yes.
But after that, when the Ravens were in New Orleans and the lights went out on them, I was at that game, and we did a charity flag football game that Nelly ran, and I scored a touchdown with Nelly on my back. Like I got a catch, and he comes up to get my flag, and I kept slapping his hand, like pushing him away. He's fast as shit. He's so fast. But like I was like, you're not supposed to stop people from grabbing your flag, but I was breaking the rules. So I'm like slapping his hand, and he goes, okay. And he jumped on my back. For the last like 40 yards, I ran with him on my back, and then I celebrated with him on my back and everything. It was like, it was pretty cool.
That's why he was in the movie The Longest Yard, right?
I think he was. I haven't seen it in so freaking long. But yeah, So he was like a
Adam Sandler's version,
which is great. It's got my buddy Bill Goldberg in it, the Hammer. But when Nelly was in high school, he was like a 5-star football player and a 4-star baseball player. He was like picked to go pro out of high school in sports. And you don't think about that, but then you get out there with him. There's a video clip of him making me look stupid, really bad. I'm full on, I'm gonna get you, and then he just goes, woohoo, and he's gone. And you see me eat it right on the grass.
You need to find that videotape so we can push it against you every time you're doing something cool.
Yeah, it was this
stuff cool, but you'll always be this guy, Robert.
I think it was called Celebrity Sweat. The people that hosted it, Celebrity Sweat.
You know what's interesting? He's got that house in St. Louis that he abandoned. Have you ever seen the video of that?
No.
It's pretty crazy. It's on YouTube. We find it, the house that he had, and this guy goes and looks at it. I think Michael Jordan had a house that he just abandoned as well.
Why do these people abandon their homes?
I don't know if they get over on taxes and it just isn't worth it to pay it off because taxes of outbalanced it or whatever you say when you're underwater. Some
Yeah.
people get underwater and it's better for them to walk away than have it. So
But you would think like walking away wouldn't do anything. You know what I mean?
you would
Like
think
I could walk away from this house, it's still gonna be under my name, like
you would
all the
think.
stuff, everything
But
follows.
if it's repossessed, not possessed, right? Is it repossessed? If it's repossessed,
Repossessed is the thing, yeah.
it's
Like
not
the
under
bank takes it.
yeah, it's not under your name anymore, so you're not dealing with it anymore. But it's bizarre that rich people have that way of they work money that giving stuff up is better than actually having stuff.
That's crazy.
Like I watch a couple things about what you're supposed to do with your money. They're like the 12 top rich people have their money in these countries, you know what I mean, and never take anything out, you know, like I'm just like, and then they buy a house and then rent it to themselves. I'm just like, what? How does
Yeah, you buy it and put it under like a trust or in an LLC.
yeah,
And you rent it yourself.
and then you rent it to yourself, so you make money off the money that you're paying for the money with the make money. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all
It's
right.
it's crazy the way you can fold over our IRS system and be like, oh, like they owe me
Yeah.
money now because I'm rich.
Yeah.
Like what?
Meanwhile, some poor guy's paying 70% on his dollar. Yeah,
Exactly. Because that's the way all the system works. It's like there's a reason why they don't teach us finance in school here. Like they will talk to you about all kinds of stuff till you're blue in the face. Math that is outdated, like crazy, all that kind of stuff. But they will not sit down and be like, this is where you should be saving. This is how you pay bills. Like they don't do any of that. So what about Canada's school system? Do they help you with finances?
to a certain age, and then I'm trying to find an area that you can see my eyes through glasses without like those. There we go.
Without the glare?
Yeah,
There you go.
That's the whole podcast.
If you lean forward, yes.
Well, let me tell you about things.
It looks like we're in a Chumbawamba video.
Yeah. In Canada, you have to you up to a grade 8, and then you have to start picking your electives, and money's an elective course. So yeah, finances. So yeah. I don't know.
It's personal finances though.
Yeah, not
It's not like business.
no. So we get taught in school how to write a check and all that stuff, and
See, there's none of that here. None of that.
I think it should be mandatory everywhere. You know, like
Yeah, help these kids out. But that's the thing is like our system is so far down the road of like people extracting out of it. We're like at the end where it's like all these crotchety old billionaires that are like, we don't want to teach them how to handle their money. You know, it's like
yeah, we don't want to give up any money. Yeah. It's that cartoon where the guy's got all the cookies and then he's got the two people fighting over having one cookie. That's
exactly.
I didn't listen to the podcast again. I apologize.
It's no biggie. It's a cool one.
When I listen to the podcast, it's going to be exciting, but I haven't.
I didn't expect you to.
Oh,
No
you
worries.
you douche. I've already let you down.
If you listen to it, you'd text. You'd be like, "Oh man, this is this or that or whatever."
That's so funny.
I held back. I listened to like hours and hours and made sure I never told you I listened to the last minute.
That's funny. I was going to listen to it this morning. I'm like, no, I'm not going to douche it and push it in because I was like, oh, I'll listen on 2 times speed. Because I have a friend that listens to a ton of podcasts and he puts it on 3 times speed. And I'm like,
I can do 1.5. It's still weird.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't go in if I don't listen it to normal at speed. And yeah.
You should switch. You should listen to a different one. I listened to Mr. Nightmare horror podcast. With my son because he loves scary stuff, and it is creepy, bro. It'll be like true stories. This guy's like, I went on Craigslist to buy a dresser, and when I got there, the house ends up being abandoned, and it's like a front, and there's guys in there waiting to tie him down and all this stuff, and it's all true stories. That kind of stuff is fun.
That's crazy.
It also checks you, like really makes you understand, like. We go about our day all the time just kind of feeling like not in a selfish way, kind of selfish, but we're the center of our universe, right?
Right.
So we kind of judge people based off of who we are. That's what humans do. Like
Right.
we look at people and we're like, well, at least they have a base normal decency, right?
Yes.
And then you find out there's people just waiting for the opportunity to do something terrible.
Well, that's it. That's the thing about when they talk about crime, and we don't talk about politics on this show, but we about crime when they talk about crime, and they put things on a certain group of people. It would be so easy if that was the case. If you do this, you also do this. But that's not the way it works. There's creeps in everything, right? There's creeps in the army. There's creeps in the police department. There's creeps that are doctors. There's creeps that are comedians. There's creeps in every piece of society. So
Yeah.
so I think if you step back and you go, it's not just because they look like that, right? Or not
Yeah.
because they act like that.
It's like 2025. So like I think
What? I'm fucking like,
most people feel like it's like I mean, not on the internet. The internet is a different place with a lot of bots and a lot of
right.
programming and a lot of bullshit. But in real life, most people feel like it's a class thing rather than like a race thing. They feel like the people that live in a trailer park that are called white trash growing up, like I was, they're on the same level as I mean to a normal person. I'm not saying like police look like this or whatever, but like to your average Joe walking down the street, like a meth head in a trailer is just as bad as a crack dealer on a corner. You know what I mean? Like it's all evened out,
They
especially
call
after
it
the opium
they call it
crisis.
like the profiling is what they call it. Profiling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you can get out of profiling, I don't know. There's a problem with profiling.
You know what's crazy is that our brain works in such a weird way where it's like all just to keep you from going insane, it's always trying to box things, right? Like you go outside, there's a million things that could just fry your brain. But our brain's like, nope, it's normal. This is normal. Box, 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 box. And then we have to like turn around and be like, okay, but maybe it doesn't fit in that box. You have to remind your brain, like, yeah, this guy looks like an athlete, but maybe he loves poems and maybe he listens to like Cher or something. You have to like constantly
My
tell your
God,
mind like
Robert.
we're
My
breaking
God,
out of
Robert, you've
that.
just given us two things that you love poems and share, Robert.
I'm
Well,
not really a big Cher fan.
what?
I,
Come on.
I do like poems though.
I do like poems. Speaking of poems, I just watched a 4-part documentary. Have you ever heard of the band The Tragically Hip?
Tragic late.
Tragically Hip.
No.
They're a Canadian band, and the guy died of brain cancer a couple years ago. But they just did this documentary of this band starting out in their hometown and doing things. But his words, if you want to read some crazy words, his words are look them up. I'll send you some of their songs.
I'm a big music lover too, so I'd love to find new people and listen to new
I'll
stuff.
say, yeah, they did a tour for his. So he had brain cancer, and he had to have a surgery, and they didn't think he'd ever talk or be able to read again or anything like that. And he was able to get back, and they were able to do one last tour across Canada.
That's badass.
It's badass, and they end it in their hometown, but it's simulcast throughout Canada.
Does it have a happy ending?
No, it does not have a happy ending. It does not. But it's simulcast through Canada, and people are watching in fields on these things in Canada, and they 1/3 of Canada watched the final show.
That's crazy.
Crazy is
What's
that?
the population of Canada?
I think it's 33 million or something like that. I remember at some point it was I think it was less than California. So
Well, what's California?
probably about 35 million. So I don't know.
35 million.
Yeah, it's something stupid. I'm probably wrong. It's probably about 15, but I'll,
I
I'll
know
start throwing numbers out there.
supposedly we have 330 million Americans, like something like that. That's the
Yeah,
only number I remember. And there's over 6.5 billion of us in the world.
that's
But that
right.
number I think got changed recently to like 7 or 7.5.
It's seven, just seven, just seven. You know what's funny is people want things, but they won't answer their door for the people to do the census. I love it.
Yeah.
They're like, we need, and they're like, don't knock on my door, you son of a bitch. You don't need to know how many people are living in here. You get
I
it.
used to love the 90s when guys, they used to do this stuff all the time back in the day when I was younger, where it would be like, you don't know what political side they're on,
Right.
and they'd come up and just confuse the shit out of people on the street. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like Jimmy, no, the guy who he has a late night show now. He used to have the Man Show.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, like Jimmy Kimmel would come up to somebody and he'd go up to a woman and be like, "You're definitely against women's suffrage, aren't you? Like we've got to end all this women's suffrage." And like just to show how easy it is to rally people up and to get people all feisty over something, and then come to find out like they don't. We're emotional people, and it used to be
Very
funny
much.
to
Well,
tease that.
you know what's funny about that show, the Man Show? You talked about the Man Show. Is Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla. Could there be two different people now? Like,
Oh my gosh, do
and they
you
used
think
to be
they
the
get
closest.
along now?
I have no idea. But I can't see them hanging because they're both so far apart from each other. Unless,
Yeah,
unless they're able to separate. My friend calls it being Switzerland. When you go into a place, you just Switzerland. Always
yeah.
Switzerland. But we
You
also
also got to wonder if those guys are really like that in real life. Because like Adam Carolla, he's deeper. And I've listened to like one of his shows. He seems like a cool guy. I don't think he's a bad person, but he's going pretty hard into some crazy stuff. And
well, that's the problem. That's the problem. Once you start getting it, like so once your podcast starts to tumble down a well,
political alley.
you can't get out of it. No matter how many rocks you try to grab
You
onto.
have to pick sides. That
Yeah.
was like all last week. I was thinking like, fuck, everyone's just gonna hate me because if you don't just jump on bandwagon and agree to everything of one or the other sides, if you play middleman and you're like, well, they're doing this and they're doing this, and that sucks on both sides. If you do that, both sides hate you.
Yeah, you don't
But
want.
what's crazy is most people feel that way. Most people feel like, but you're not supposed to say it, I guess. It's like you gotta make sure you put the jersey on for your team.
Yeah, you know what's funny about people is I had a guy send me a message. I was in Irvine, California this weekend. A guy sent me a message on Sunday morning saying, "That's the worst show I've ever seen. I've seen your show 10 times, and that is the worst show I've ever seen. You can't blame the audience. That was the worst. You asked people what their favorite part of a blowjob was 10 times." Right? And I'm like, well, if you've seen my show, you know, if you see my show 10 times, you know that's a bit. There's actually a bit there. It's I ask people what their favorite part of a blowjob is, and then my favorite part is when I go, that's my favorite part, right? And then I say, if you're not laughing at that, you got a little penis, right? But that's the bit. But the guy's all mad at it. Like I was like, I'm like, you can't be mad at my one joke out of an hour. I did an hour, and you're mad at one joke. That's
Also, who's come to see you 10 times and then bitches about you repeating a joke that it's got to have a different setup every time because you're including someone in the audience.
yeah. Sorry,
So it's like new set, punch, new set, punch. It's like, how can you be mad at that?
I have no idea, but I felt bad. So there's this guy from a rock band there. I don't even know what the name of the rock band was, but the sound man.
Ozzy Osbourne, just some loser.
Something. But he was they were a straight edge band back in the day, right? And I was like, "Oh, what's your band's name?" And they said it, and not one person clapped except for the sound man. And I was just like, "Oh no, I hate making people feel bad." So yeah, so it was a fun weekend. But you know what I did do last week? Went to the doctor.
You went to the doctor.
Yeah, I got some results back too.
You already got results.
Yeah, I got so first of all, I went to Memorial Care. I'm pretty sure I found my doctor. My favorite part about him was like I liked the nurse, I liked the clinic, I liked how it worked. They were able to take my blood while I was there. They took my blood. Like I've never
My bloods.
Yeah, but you usually have to go someplace else and they take your blood. No, this
It depends. A lot of places, there's a lot of like labs that are only blood, and then there's doctors.
Yeah.
You want a nurse that does it enough. I hate getting pricked twice. Like if you miss it on the first one, we're done for the day.
Yeah, you're not good at that.
Go ahead. Make a long
No,
joke.
she was good. She got it. She goes, "Do you think you have a good veins?" I go, "I don't know." She goes, "Well, let's find out." So
He's so veiny.
so she found a vein. She got my blood and she took it out. And this guy was like, I said, "Well, do you want to be my doctor?" He goes, "Well, here's my rules. You got to be on time. You actually have to be 15 minutes early." I'm
Is
like,
he on time?
yeah,
He'd be the first. He's
because
the only doctor in America that's on time.
well, that's what's funny about it was I went right in and he showed right up, and I was like, well, this is different, right?
Yeah,
So
that's not our style.
that's not our style at all. And I liked him. He just, I talked to him about everything. So he's funny at one point. He goes, "Do you want to see a therapist?" And I said, "No, I think I'm pretty good."
That's the kind of doctor you want. You want
Yeah,
you want to feel like you can share all the stuff and that they're not judgy and all that stuff. That
yeah,
they're
yeah,
fun. That's good. So
yeah.
tell me about what you want to tell me about, but the results and stuff.
The results, well, that was my results were not that bad. Like it was. I had a couple yellows. Riboflavin. What the fuck is riboflavin?
I've
Uh,
heard of it. I don't remember.
Apparently, I got some riboflavin in me, but none of not. I had a cup. I went into a yellow just a couple times, and it was just into yellow. So I just have to do some stuff, and I'll bring it back. But my testosterone was in the green,
What? But what's the number?
350.
Ha! That's what I told you.
So
I
I
told you it'd be low, like 354, 450 or whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they'll tell you that's good. But that's also that's they just lowered the standard about 4 months ago again for Americans.
right.
The average used to be between 6 and 8, and then it went down between 5 and 6, and now it's like, depending on who you talk to, it's between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
But
I think it was between 250 and 600 or something like that. But
that is so insane. Like, do you know the difference of someone at 600 and the difference of someone at 250? You're talking about a guy with bitch tits and tired in the morning and holding on to fat for no reason that still goes to the gym. And you're talking about a guy who wakes up with a boner and like ready to rock and roll.
why you gotta fucking bring me up like that?
Why you gotta call me out? You don't want average, you want optimum.
Optimum. So I'm gonna get my next appointment's not until the end of summer. That's the only problem because I'm traveling. But I talked to him about doing a couple things, and yes, I do want to get on testosterone. But I don't know if do I have to go back to him to get on testosterone, or can I go?
It's everywhere. If you wanted to do an easy thing, there's a million telehealth places and all that stuff. You do want a place that does blood work regularly, though. That's the thing. Is like
When you
there's
say
there's
when
a
you say
small percentage of guys who like their blood gets thick, and so like you want to you're already seeing a doctor for your health. You're working out. You might as well every 2-3 months get a little blood drawn, get a check.
that was my question. I was gonna say how much is every so often, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Every 2-3 months, go get some blood, get checked out. And like, so like when I had a nutritionist that's a professional nutritionist that works, I'm not gonna say the name because I'm gonna say bad things, but works with a lot of pro athletes. And that person ran my pharmaceuticals, they ran all my other things, and then they would tell me like, you have to go get blood done this date. And if your blood count is this, and this, you need to donate blood and all this kind of stuff. There was like a protocol just to make sure that your body's not like gunking up because it's getting, I don't know how to put it all together, but they call it thicker blood.
Question for you: when you had to donate blood,
I never had to.
why would they just to get blood out of your system or something?
Well, the way it was explained to me, again, this is bro science.
Bro science, everybody, fuck it. We should put it right right across the screen. I mean,
Bro science. So, bro science, it was like an oil change. You take out all the old, thick, dirty blood, and your body produces fresh, healthy blood. Supposedly, that's what it is, and that's like I don't know why your blood gets thick. I don't know. I don't know all those things. I knew like I could feel a little sluggish, and there's also they have different things like pills and shots and stuff. Like I was on HCG. I am on right now. I just do the normal, which you'll probably be on. I do like the old man protocol, a little bit of testosterone, a little bit of HCG, and like that's it. Like I go about my day. I don't ever have to worry about like sick blood and all that stuff just because my body reacts well. But like I've been so like I was off and I did a lot of bullshit for like 3 years almost where I did just fat guy stuff. I really hated being at the gym. I don't like talking about it. It feels embarrassing, but I hated it. I hated it after I broke myself in the gym for decades, and then I just wanted to burn every fucking gym down.
But it's like anything, you burnt out.
Yeah. And so for a long time, I just got fat. And like, so now I'm at like, 3-4 weeks of consistently getting my shot on time, eating right. And I'm already like feeling abs on the side. My body's like totally changing so quick. It's
when you say what, so you go into and I hope this, it's not just information for me that I'm grabbing. Hopefully somebody else is listening to this that might be struggling a little bit or is doing well but needs a little bit more of a push. You do it weekly. You go into a place and get a shot.
Yeah, once a week I go get a shot, and I just plop down. They put it in my shoulder. Then they like to put the HCG in my arm too.
What's the HCG?
HCG is the one that helps your natural production. So like porn stars and guys trying to have babies take HCG because you end up you nut like a porn star, bro. You ever had a 45-second nut? It's crazy.
Seems a little short for me.
No, I mean like you could shoot it across the room for 20 seconds.
Yes, hit somebody in the head.
25 more seconds of more. It's insane. It is like if anyone listening has never had HCG, it's a very simple thing. Talk to your doctor. You can do you put it in your belly like insulin, so you don't even feel it, and it eats fat. It ups your own production, so you don't have any synthetic production. And oh my gosh, yes, there's a reason why every porn star you ever heard of takes it.
I'm just gonna take it to scare the guys in the sauna. Keep them on their own side.
Don't sit over by that guy.
Don't sit over there. He'll hurt your eyes.
So yeah, I go in once a week. Get stuck, and I'm good. Like, it's not a big thing. I know you and me growing up, we got so much like inundation of steroids, Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco and all these bad people, and even the bike rider that everyone loved.
One Ball Johnny.
Yeah, and it's like they burned him at the stake when everyone else competing against him was on it too. Yeah. He lost a testicle to cancer. He like came out and made like the Live Strong bands that really helped raise money for cancer. Like he was a good person, and he was just tossed aside because of steroids, And
I think he would have got away with it if he had not been just a little less arrogant. So
a little less arrogant.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know.
When I watch his videos, I'm just like, he was burning people, and when you burn people,
they come after you.
Yeah. When you do things, you gotta, and this is not a lesson for people to get away with more stuff. But if you're gonna do shit, you got to be super nice.
Yeah.
Got to be super nice because the wrong person you will fuck over somebody at some point, and it'll be the wrong person, and they'll have nothing and come after you.
Yep.
And that's what happened with him. So you always write that down, kids. Be nice to everybody. But I remember this is what I learned at being like an opener in a comedy club. You be nice to the staff, right? Because they're going to be there on your way up, and they're going to be there on your way down, and they'll be nice.
Yeah.
And don't fuck a waitress until Saturday night, because you'll probably want to fuck another waitress if you fuck Thursday night. And then you'll get everybody mad at you.
Yeah. You always wait till the end of the weekend, unless it's a groupie.
Yeah, and then as got later on in our career, everybody's like, you don't play with the staff because then you get in real trouble. So just never sleep with anybody in the staff. So yeah, and
also remember, there's a lot of times.
Single.
Well, I wish I would have known this 5 years ago, but like more like 10 years ago. But a lot of times, alleyways have cameras.
That's really funny. I had a guy come to a show in a club that is owned by a very famous podcaster, and this guy came to my show, and he was at this town, and he lives in Long Beach, and he's seen my show a couple times. Like, I want to be a comedian, but he's never become a comedian. Anyways, he came to my show. He said, "Ian, can you get me to the show that's sold out?" And I said, "Let me see what I can do." And I said, when I went in, I said, "Can you put these people on the list?" And they said, "Yeah, no problem. Do you want them in VIP or just normal?" And I said, "In normal." Right. But somehow that got confused to VIP, and they got their own area that was in the balcony.
Oh, sitting next to Trump and JD Vance.
Nobody else was up in the balcony. They were by themselves in the balcony, right? So they decided they would have some fun. Well, little do they know there's cameras everywhere, and the waitress walked in while he was getting blown, right? And I come off stage and they're like, Ian, your guest was getting blown and the waitress walked in and they said we feel bad. I'm like, why would you guys feel bad? Like, why would you guys? There's no need for you guys to. But we have cameras everywhere if you want to see the video of it. I'm like, no, I don't really want to see that guy's wiener. But the weird part was I knew that and I didn't say it. And they were there at the end of the show. And he came up to talk to me and she wasn't there. And all of a sudden she came out of nowhere and was really close. And I'm like, you're way too close. Your breath is way too close.
Yeah, yeah. You smell like an old sailor.
You smell like ball sack, lady. But that's a lesson. Cameras nowadays are everywhere. It may be blurry.
Everywhere.
It may be blurry, but they're gonna make you out.
Well, they can get you. Like, even I remember I was bouncing as a kid, and it was the end of the eras, like without the cell phones. No cell phones. Like Nokia had been out, you know?
All right. You can play Snake.
Then I remember, man, people used to get buck wild. Like, I did concerts. So, like, I remember very famous people in public having sex, like just up against the trash can. Or like, there was an alley behind our show that was always being used all night, every night, all the time. Like, it was just a regular thing. Now there's like 4 cameras in that alley. One night, I think it was Pearl Jam. I saw Eddie Vedder climb up on a balcony that's about 75 feet above the crowd, at least. Step up and then do a backflip off of it into the crowd. And he's such a beast. And so then I'm out watching the back and everything, and I'm with a buddy of mine. He was a buddy at the time. I haven't spoken to him a long time, and he was like, this is the night I really figured out he was a piece of shit. We were standing there, and there was these 2 girls and this guy going at it in the alley. And I was
2
like,
girls and a guy in the alley.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk 2 girls into a threesome if I had a beach with dolphins going by, and this guy's go by the garbage and both of you suck my dick. That's incredible,
dude. You should hear. I'll tell you the story of my first threesome. It's heartbreaking.
It's
It was in that same alley.
It was in that same alley, but mine was with 2 other guys.
So, anyways, this guy's having fun with these 2 girls. They're all very, very into it. And my buddy walks like 200 yards around the building, gets the cops, and walks them back over to arrest the guy.
No.
And then he comes over and he's like, oh, got him. I was like, bro, that's not fucking cool. That's like I don't think that's funny. I don't like that shit. Like,
you know what that is?
They were beating each other up or anything. There was.
Well, they were beating each other
No,
up.
it's not like that.
But they were beating each other, but in a nice way.
Yes.
You know what that is, though? That's jealousy. I think people that get upset about those kind of things is jealous, like incels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really bothered me that he thought I was gonna think that was cool. Like, I'll never forget that moment of being like, bro, that's fucking stupid. And look, yeah.
Bro, you're a dick.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. That place was crazy, though. Like, at the end of the night, we always had to go out and, like,
what town was that in?
Say it again?
What town was that in?
Santa Cruz.
Oh, God. That must have been insane.
It was awesome. It wasn't like being at a big concert venue, but it was like really low down, hippy dippy, cool shit. Like, it was fun, man. And usually at the end of the night, there's like 2 or 3 girls passed out in the alleyway, and we have to go stand guard to keep the homeless guys away.
Oh,
like, it was crazy.
That is crazy. I love it. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do testosterone at some point. I gotta figure out when I'm gonna do it. Continue working out, but I did change my diet this week. I'm trying to drink more water as well as eat better. And so far, we're going okay. We did find so I wanted to talk to you about
Real quick, before you change it though, do you do a lot of liquid calories?
what do you mean? What
Like drinks that are just syrup, sugar, shit.
No, I do not, but I do too many sugar-free drinks.
Sugar free. If you do the 0 calorie drinks,
Uh-huh.
at least you're not. Yes, I'm sure we're getting some weird thing in 20 years.
Yeah.
Aspartame will get us. But at least if you're focusing on not sucking down extra calories with
Yeah.
liquid, that's a big deal for a lot of people. It's
I don't think it was I think it was just amounts and time. Like
time.
yeah, so I'm trying to knock her off about 9. And also we did the guy that I tour with, he's doing something right now. And we've decided to start ordering meals for the road because
Awesome.
we found a place that'll deliver to our hotel.
There's
So
a lot of them.
yeah.
And there's good meals too. You don't have to eat cardboard shit. You can eat
This one
a
looks pretty
good,
good. I'll give you a review next week.
nice. Take a couple pictures of the food. I do
Okay.
them a lot. I do a lot of meal stuff when I travel.
It's traveling. Yeah. If you don't do it, it's like where I'm at right now. So
You're at the not the will, but you're at the uh,
yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
You have only the choices in which they're available at
Yeah.
12:30, 1 in the morning.
And it's funny. My wife said she goes, "Oh, that seems a little expensive for 6 meals." And I was like, "Well, basically, we spend that on one when we're
Yeah,
traveling. So it's really not that bad."
right. It is. When you look at it, it does seem a little more expensive than going to the grocery store. It's way less than going out to eat, and you're not going to set yourself up for failure. If you show up and you're there for 4 days and you've got 3.5 days worth of food and you're going to go out to eat once, you feel like a jerk if you don't eat that food. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
like you should have sent it to Libya. They could have it.
Right, right. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do all that stuff. So we'll kind of and that's not what the point of this podcast was, but we're going to end up following what I do.
The point is going to end up our three-way conversation.
The point,
You and me are going to be way more into that stuff. That's really
yeah,
what
yeah,
we're doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell us. You're going to tell us their story. Or you're going to tell it.
Oh yeah, you want to? It's embarrassing.
I don't know if you should tell it on this. Should you tell it on this?
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's hold it off. Let's talk about something else for now. I also.
How'd you lose your virginity?
I was a dork for a long time in high school. Like I didn't even know I was a dork. I was that big of a dork, and I was so confident because I was a mama's boy. And so like one day it just like my tide turned and I was the cool kid because I was getting recruited by Alabama, USC, and Nebraska, and they were coming to the high school to talk to me. And all of a sudden, I went from being like a dork that like I was one of the like my only friend was a black kid, so I was like he's half black, half Mexican, and so like I was the only white kid in a very rich school wearing FUBU and like all that. I was that kid. I would sag my pants. And so I was a dork until like summer between sophomore junior year when I was really getting recruited, and then that's when it happened for me at on a pool table at my buddy's house.
That's
it was
funny.
about 12 seconds. It was great. And then his mom came out and kicked us out. And luckily, I got to use that as the excuse. I was like, well, we got to go, obviously. We're done.
I'd like to talk to you more, but we can't have any more conversation.
Yeah. I was just getting warmed up. But, I mean, obviously, we have to respect this lady's house.
You were about to get a thrashing, young lady.
That same night, I had a bottle of Jack. I was my dad had a schizophrenic break when I was a kid. He had a couple in my life, but he had a schizophrenic break, and I just decided I was going to burn everything to the ground. I was done. I didn't give a fuck about sports, grades, school. I told my I can't remember which teacher it was, but I told him to fuck off, and I was like, if you've got a problem, I'll solve it for you. Like, I got real mean and serious and all this stuff, and I was just lashing out like a little kid. I look back, I feel bad for that kid. But that night,
That kid's done okay.
Say again?
That kid's done okay, so.
He has. Honestly, I think that chip on his shoulder is what dug him out of the fucking hood. So I'm glad. At least I had that chip. That chip dug me out.
None of your road, your highway, your journey happens unless that kid goes through what he did, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
So, anyways, it's that night, and I drank an entire bottle of Jack, an entire bottle by itself. It was my favorite drink, and I would just sit there with the bottle. At the end of the night, the bottle's gone. I'm chewing tobacco for hours, and I'm just spitting in the Jack bottle all night. Probably 4 different lippers, right?
No.
And I'll take the lipper out, and I'll put it in the bottle and everything. So it's got snot and boogers and spit. And then this kid that was a sophomore showed up at the house that we were partying in, and he was like, "Oh, saying something," and I was like, "Shut up and drink this." And I gave him the Jack.
Oh my God!
He took a big chug, and then he put it down, and one of my loogies was running down the side of his face, and he just turned purple, green, puked all over the place. I felt so bad. I was like, I don't think I'm cut out for being a jerk, because I feel bad for this kid.
That's so funny.
It was rough.
If you're hammered and you feel bad, you're a good person.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not, and most people, they don't feel bad ever, and most people feel bad when they sober up. And if you feel bad when you're drunk, you got some feelings in you, son. You got some feelers in you, son.
For me, I think that's true, but there's a lot of drunks out there that are like, "I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry," you know.
That's true. Oh my God.
When you're on the show, how often is it every single trip you got to deal with a drunk crazy person, or is it like 1 out of 5? How often are you dealing, like, obviously, I mean, you'll have a conversation with people a lot, and I'm sure having somebody be hammered in that conversation is like a step, like, not a thing, but I mean more than that, like a step up, where it's like, they're either maybe not physical or anything, but they're either including themselves too much, or like they saying a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny is funny you say that. I find this weekend the late shows, they were fucking hammered, like just like everybody just gooned.
What time's the late show start?
It was, I think, 9:30.
Okay.
So they were primed, both shows, and I just got to ride these shows out, right? Like they're yelling, they're having a good time,
You just kind of like beat the wave and then stay in it.
You just jump on the wave and you ride it, right? You don't. Some guys will get mad if they can't do what they plan to do, right?
Yeah.
I say in it, I'm here for you guys to have a good time. I want to be your escape. That's all I want to be. So if I'm going to be that, I have to figure out how the majority, I ride the majority that makes the minority have a good time too, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean I don't smack them around a little bit, right? With words, but it just means that I don't go. Even though somebody will come out and go, "Oh, you really should have that person kicked out." No, I shouldn't have, because they're a little too much, but don't tell me you've never been a little too much at some point.
Right.
And did you miss out on what was happening, or would you, if you were that person, would you have been bummed? But I try to make it so it's not about them, but to give them just enough rope that we have fun. And then they hang themselves.
Yeah. And then you carry through it too. You don't. Yeah. A lot of comedians, they kind of get stifled in that moment when someone either has a quick one or they just won't stop, or even if it's an annoying laugh. I've seen it. And
Right.
now, like, everything stops. And to me, again, I've been on stage a bunch, but I'm not a comedian at all. But like, to me, it seems almost unprofessional. It's like, imagine if, like, basketball players do this. Imagine going to like a sporting event and being mad that someone's wearing like another team's jersey, or like
Right.
whatever. Like, you're going to a drunken bar telling jokes, and people are going to get rowdy. And now, yes, of course, there is a line. Like, there's a line, and if you go past that line, that's that. But you
Yeah.
should expect like a shout out, a scream, a laugh, a silly
Yeah.
laugh. Those things should be expected.
The only thing that I don't deal well with is hate, right? Right. So if you're going to bring hate at me, but if you're going to bring hate at me, you're not having a good time. We're not having a good time. Let's just walk away from each other. I can
Yeah,
walk away, but you're going to have to walk away, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's the way I put it, right? You very like maybe at once a quarter, I'll kick somebody out of a show. Like very rarely does somebody get kicked out of my show. And you got to
yeah,
go really far to get kicked out of my show because I'm curious. Like when you start talking, I'm curious what's going to come out and curious about who you are, right? So it's not that and I've never been jealous of somebody getting a laugh or being weird in the crowd. I'm not jealous and thinking
yeah,
they're stealing the show. And by the way, I'm not saying the way anybody else does comedy is wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me, right? That's the way I'm saying. Like it's the show. The show sometimes is way better than the ditch than it is on the highway. So I don't mind it going in the ditch. We'll see where it grows up. And also,
that's a big part of your show
it's a
too.
big part
Like,
of it. But also, my show is we don't know where we're going. So if something's done, we like I've had people pass out. I've had people had seizures. It doesn't mean the show is over all the time, right? It means that was part of the show. We dealt with it. Wow, was that uncomfortable? Wow, was that funny? I don't know, but I brought some sort of emotion out of you,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
yeah,
So it's about 4 times a year you have to kick somebody out.
I would say I
About that.
would
That's
say,
cool. Now
yeah.
I am curious then. You've been doing it a long, long time, so maybe not like the number one standout, but like maybe one or two of your worst heckler moments.
Ooh, heckling. Okay, I'll tell.
City first. I want to hear the city. You have to name the city.
The first it was in Canada. It was a place called
That's
Kelowna.
a nice city.
Yeah, Kelowna, British Columbia.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's Canada, and it's a small town, and I had
You're
read,
being too nice.
I-
You're doing good, buddy.
and,
Shut up.
no, it gets better. So the week before I was there, I read about a retaining wall falling on a lady while she was gardening, and she was killed.
Dang.
And I was just
Like
like,
a retaining wall, like by a highway or something.
by like their backyard had, I guess, was like there was a and it fell on her. And I went on stage and I said, I read about this story about
No, no, no.
being killed by a retaining wall. That was definitely murder. And all of a sudden I hear, that's my sister.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? And she goes, that was my sister. How dare you? And all these people started getting mad. I had no place. I was just like, good night. I fucking right.
Thank you. Good night.
Right? So that's the worst part about it. A year later, I read about this guy that was arrested because he killed his wife by having a retaining wall fall on her. Right?
Different person?
Same guy. Same guy. He killed her. And
That girl but you didn't even make fun of her. You just said that was
I just brought it up and
murder?
I couldn't believe it. The lady, first of all, I'm like, it's been a week and you're already at a comedy show? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like it was like
That's not going to help you out with the audience.
not at all. Now, me talking about my cock is not going to help you forget about your sister. Anyways, but it turned out he killed her. The way they caught him was he moved his secretary in 2 weeks later, right?
What the heck?
It was all this clusterfuck, but I was getting taken down.
But you have a lot of
That is-
material when you go back there now.
I'm not going back there. Fuck it. Bunch of murderers. That's my sister. And I remember my buddy Herb Dixon was emceeing, goes, buddy, you just can't leave the stage. I'm like, how do I fucking follow that? Like, how do I follow? I killed some, they made it sound like I killed her.
How like deep into your career was this newbie? Had you been a vet for a while?
No, this is probably about 6 years into my career.
So 6 years, you've had heckling, you've dealt with shit.
I've dealt with heckling, but not about that like that.
Yeah, that's pretty
I,
bad.
I, I do remember a guy got on stage once and I picked him up and threw him off the stage. So that was in Cincinnati. And then he forgot it. They kicked him out and he forgot his keys. He forgot his keys. They're on the table. And he came back and I said, what are you doing here? Get the fuck out of the club. You're kicked out. Get out. I forgot my keys. And I said, we'll get them to you afterwards, right? And I said, pass me the keys. And they gave me the keys, right? And this was in Cincinnati. It was on the Kentucky side. There's a river. If you're in Cincinnati, there's a river. And there was a comedy club called the Levee. And it was right on the river. Like the river was right there. And I walked out with his BMW keys and threw them in the river. That was the best return and heckle volley that I've ever had.
Oh man, that's crazy. What was he getting up on stage for?
He was a lady had passed out and I made fun of her because she fell off the thing and he didn't think that it was funny.
Defending her honor.
Yeah, defending her honor. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Start crying? Like I have to. I'm doing a comedy show. I have to.
Right.
She's okay, but I also have to make fun of her.
Right.
Like I say, we have to keep going. And he was mad about it. We kept going. I think I did it about another. Oh, here's the best heckler fucking one I've ever had. Sorry. Uh, I'm in Texas, in Arlington, Texas, and
Outside of Dallas. Yeah.
side of Dallas, and it's not the good side of Dallas, right?
You got good barbecue.
Yeah, they do have good barbecue there. I'm on stage, and there's this jacked black guy on a date, and I try talking to him, he won't talk to me. I go, what do you do, buddy? He goes, I'm a gangbanger. And I go, oh, the happy-go-lucky type or the shoot type? Because I know two types of gangbanging. There's, you know, and he's like, stands up and chucks a rock glass at me, right? And I can see it coming. And there's a brick wall behind me. And I just kind of move and it hits the brick wall and doesn't break. And you can hear people like making fun of him because it didn't break. And he got up and he ran, and I was like, holy fuck, he's gonna come at me. But he ran out of the room. And I was like, oh fuck, he's going to get a gun because I'm like in Texas. I'm like this, I'm gonna get shot for sure, right?
Yeah.
And the bouncers came back in. I go, what happened? They go, they got in the car and he drove away. Right? He left his date. And I asked her, how was it going? She goes, it was going horrible. He was a dick. I didn't like him. And I go, what kind of car did he drive away? And they said a purple Porsche. And I said, that's sad. He couldn't even get the color he wanted. Because it was
I was gonna say at the beginning, if you're in a room and you announce out loud that you're a gangbanger,
yeah.
Where I grew up, there's a fine line between playing gangster and being involved in gangster shit.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of was wondering, like, it almost sounds fake, right? When someone says that, they're like trying to sound tough. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like if you've got enough money to have a Porsche and you're saying that in public, he might have actually been pretty gangster. You don't know. Like he was a sensitive gangster.
I don't think he would have drove away. I think he actually like gang bangs is what he was trying to say. And yeah, he's the first one in a gang bang.
Yeah, he's number one on the train.
He's the smallest penis. They make him go first.
Yeah. Everybody to the back.
But I thought for sure I was getting shot that night, right? And the hotel was like about I don't know, about 15-minute walk from the club.
You walked it.
But that night I forced myself to walk. They're like, we're gonna give you a ride, never know if he's out there. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm walking home. I'm fucking gonna be strong as shit. And I'm walking, I'm like, well, I don't know if this is worth it if I get shot.
It always feels like those moments you're like, I have to do this for myself. I have to stand up and walk. I gotta be a man, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards you're like, I could have been fine with the ride.
Yeah. I really could have just gotten a ride. Did you ever get heckled while doing strongman?
Oh yeah, a lot actually. Like when I compete in England, I play like a heel character when I compete.
Uh-huh.
So like in wrestling, a heel is the bad guy, and I would
Mhm.
do it all the time. My first time in England, they introduced me, and I went and took the mic, and I was like, I don't care if you like me or not. You pray to an inbred queen and all this stuff, and I went off and like just booze, booze, booze. And then from that was the beginning of my career. From that moment forward, all Giants lives, all the shows, they only would allow plastic cups, no more glass,
Oh, that's
because of me.
hilarious. That's
And
hilarious.
that night we were in a hotel and people found out. We were sitting like eating dinner, and like there was the glass wall to the outside right here. People saw me and tried to break the glass to get into the hotel. They got arrested. I used to do that a lot. I was very into that, like, like act like an asshole, especially English. English people, they get really rowdy for strongman. And so I
English.
went and did a show. Oh man, I don't remember when this was, but we were in I believe it was London. It might have been Doncaster. And there was a guy getting a lifetime achievement award, an English guy who had been a referee since the beginning, old school. Everybody loves him. He had cancer, and he like showed up with this like cancer box and all these tubes and all this shit, and like he like walked out there and got the award, and like went and sat back down front row. And then I went out there and I ripped apart Eddie, which was the English like champion at the time. And then I walked over to that guy and I took his beer and I drank it and I threw the cup in his face and walked off. And oh man, they had to restrain people from getting me. And then at the end, that guy, he knows the business. That guy's been around a long time. He came to the back and he gave me a big hug. And he goes, "You're the most amazing cunt I've ever seen."
That's
And
funny.
it was all love. I loved him so much.
And,
Like it
and,
was so much fun. But I really pissed off the crowd that night.
and in England, when they're using that word, it's because they love you. They're not
Yeah,
using.
yeah. It's not like being in America. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
He was very happy to be included. He felt good, like being a part of the show like that. And also,
Yeah.
he gets to be the good one. I didn't come out and make myself
the hero.
He was.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
He was the hero. Cool. Yeah. It is. My stand-up's the same way, but I don't play the heel, but at times I may go a little too far. But it's involving people, and people like to be involved. So it's
the show. That's the same thing between our two jobs, or whatever you want to call them. Like, you have to remember, like, it's the entertainment part. Like, you can get caught up in just being there and being your best, and like trying to make sure you get, like, I have this that I know works and I'm going to get to it. But like, you go out there and you include people, you make them go home feeling like they were a part of the show, they were a thing. Like, that's a lifetime fan. That's somebody who just had a great time. It's entertainment, man.
They'll see 11 shows and then they'll say
complain on the 11th.
Complain. Do you want to let's wrap this up. Do you have any shout outs this week? Do you have anything you want to bring up? Anything that you?
I don't think so. I mean, it's all same. Next week we'll be able to talk about the basketball game with Jellyroll that I got in a couple hours.
I look forward to it. Yeah, I look forward to hearing that.
I'll have some video and stuff for sure.
I'm headed to, even though this won't be out, this will already be out. I'm going to Sacramento this weekend. I'll be there for 3 shows. I know, check out ianbagg.com for my upcoming schedule. Come see a show. Go check out Roberts. You
can check out my website, theamericanmonster.com. It's mostly just used for training. So like if people are looking for a little advice and stuff, they can always go there, theamericanmonster.com. I like doing that stuff. It's actually really affordable, and it's nice because like I FaceTime people and coach in the moment, so I can actually help them and stuff. Nice. So I guess that's the only thing I have for a shout out.
No, that's a great thing. We enjoy doing these. At some point, we'll be having a guest. Who knows when we'll be starting having guests? But we're
gonna get that guy that complained at your show.
We gotta have him come in and call me a cunt. But we enjoy our conversations weekly. Maybe one day I'll get to listen to that podcast.
I think you should switch. Go to Mr. Nightmare.
Mr. Nightmare.
Yeah, Mr. Nightmare is my son and mine's favorite podcast.
Okay,
We
well,
listen to it all the time.
everybody else, send us messages on socials. Follow us on socials. Listen to the pod. Watch the pod. Just enjoy the pod. And if you're a husky guy, tell us your waist size. See you next time.
Later, guys.